Good morning. It's July 20th and the 56th anniversary of mankind first landing on the moon. Time for another edition of NASA Days. The year was 2000, and I was still working on the Checkout and Launch Control System, or CLCS. As the development progressed, multiple versions of the CLCS system software existed. They were all named after different rockets, from the early days to the latter. By 2000, we had already delivered Thor and Redstone and Juno. We were currently on Atlas with Titan in development. We had an application development lab on the second floor of the Launch Control Center in the LCC. And when space shuttle launches would occur, we patched the data from the launch firing room into the development lab to see how our CLCS system would work. We also used that opportunity to show off the new application software and the displays we were working on. These displays were taking advantage of 25 years of progress since the Space Shuttle Launch Processing System was developed. So instead of crude character-based graphics in a 72-column by 24-line grid, we had access to images and animations and all the modern graphical displays. And we showed off what we could do. Not only was this a good test of the system, it showed the vision of the future, and it demonstrated tangible progress as we moved towards our goal. These launch demonstrations became very popular. Test team members would come by during breaks and see what we were doing, as well as management folks and folks that came in from out of town to support the space shuttle launch. As the new CLCS firing room hardware installation was finished, we moved this from the second floor development lab up to the third floor into firing room 4. Now everyone was on the same floor. Space shuttle launch team would be either in firing room 1 or 3. The management team would always be in firing room 2. And our CLCS demonstrations would take place in firing room 4. This location made it super easy for folks to come by on breaks or, while they're waiting for the shuttle launch to happen. Many dignitaries would also come by, and I would give them tours of the system and show them what we're doing. Especially during STS-95, which was John Glenn's launch, we had members of Congress, generals, and all kinds of people there. In fact, I gave a tour to then President Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. Now, Hillary seemed much more interested in the space program than Bill, but it was an honor to show them both what we were working on and how we were making progress. We also updated the hardware out at the Shuttle Avionics Lab out at SAIL in Houston. And the first group of applications that we were ready to take out was the flight control group. I led a team of engineers and developers to go out to SAIL for a week of testing. Somehow, we got first shift. That never happens. They always give the KSC people third shift, but we got first shift. I think everyone wanted to see what the new system was. We powered up the SAIL OV95 rig and put the new flight control software through its paces. Unlike shadowing a shuttle launch when we were in monitor-only mode, testing out at SAIL was full command and control. Several workers out at JSC mentioned that they had visitors a few weeks before that said CLCS was going to be canceled. We assured them we had heard no such thing. More on that later. In addition to testing at SAIL, I reached out to my contacts in the booster console at Mission Control. One of the last things I had done before leaving the shuttle program was to coordinate an engineer exchange program. Some of the young Mission Control people would come out to the Kennedy Space Center and sit in on a shuttle terminal countdown demonstration test. And KSC engineers would in return travel to JSC and sit in on a launch countdown simulation. And occasionally, if the opportunity arose, They got to sit with the flight crew during a launch ascent run in the Shuttle Motion Simulator. The SMS, Shuttle Motion Simulator, or SMS, was like an airline simulator, a full space shuttle cockpit, though, on a 6 degree of freedom motion base. It was the ultimate e-ticket ride. You could do launches or landings from the SMS. So my booster contact got us access to the SMS after work one day. We had to split our team into two. The first team went in, and then I joined them on the second team. I got to sit. Listen to me. I got to sit in the MS2 position, which is right behind the commander, CDR's chair. Now you're in launch position, so you have to think you're crawling in and you're lying down on your back, looking up. You strap into your seat with a 5-point harness and up. They take you through the last minute or two of launch countdown. Then at T minus 6.6 seconds, the main engines are started and the simulator pitches forward. And so you can feel the thrust from the engines. And as you settle back to straight up, the solid rocket boosters light. Wow, the amount of vibration in the cockpit during the solid rocket booster burning was insane. It surprised me. You shook in all directions. Once the SRBs were jettisoned, all vibrations stopped. As you continued on your ascent journey, or going uphill, as they call it, you sense the G-forces building by the simulator kind of moving backwards, and you feel yourself being pushed into the chair. I asked them if they could fail main engine 1 at T plus 5 minutes and 44 seconds. That's what actually happened during the first space shuttle mission that I was at KSC for back in 1985. I always wanted to know, what did the crew of that mission notice first? Was it the red status lights, or the chamber pressure indicator going to 0, or the master alarm? Well, at the appropriate time, they failed engine number 1 on the simulator, and engine 1 shut down, and I got my answer. The first thing I noticed was a loss of thrust, and the simulator pushed you forward. You could actually feel the loss of thrust. We also got the master alarm and everything else. We declared an abort to orbit, just like they did. And we burned the remaining 2 engines longer. So we got more time in the simulator than the other group. However, they didn't have an engine avionics engineer with them. I think that's all for this time. I've got more to say on this in CLCS, but next time we're going to talk about that rumor. Until then, have a great weekend. We'll talk to you later.